Hi, hello. Welcome to the episode of Isaiah's Newsstand. It's your host, Isaiah Edwards. The date is March the 5th, 2026. Hopefully this episode finds you well, in good spirits and high hopes. As for me, I'm doing pretty good. Happy Thursday, everyone. Hopefully the day treated you well. As for me, it's been a good day. I will say I was very tired, very depleted for pretty much the entirety of the day. Definitely an own goal on my end. I fucked up. Okay. So yet again, I doubled down on not eating well. It is becoming a really bad trope for me to just kind of let myself run out of time and be like, okay, I will just live like a squirrel and snack on nuts and little dried fruits, and I'll be okay. I'll be fine. And then I wake up the next day wondering, why am I so tired? Why am I so like? It's like because you didn't have a whole meal, man. So that was really my only thorn for the day. Honestly, the day was really solid. We get to work on time. There is more or less just enough work to keep me at the crusher for most of the day. I did have to spend, I think maybe about 30 minutes or so upstairs, but I got to just cut down boxes. I didn't have to do anything too crazy. I will say I had a little bit of a jokey joke time with my boss at the end of the day. As I was like dropping off my radio, he goes, "Oh, you must have like some secret place you hide out down there, because you never see you anywhere." And I'm like, yeah, there's like an extra button, it's like a little bookcase for me. I didn't know what to say, but I could tell that he wasn't being mean or anything. He's just, I guess, saying like, hey, you're always down to the crusher or we never see you anywhere else. That's wild. I'm like, yeah, damn, that's crazy. Anyway, have a nice day, boss. That was pretty much it. But hey, we'll take that. That's progress. That is growth. That is positive. But no, overall, it was a good work day. No complaints there. I did have like a little bit of a fruit cheese cracker tray that has become like my good emergency go-to when I know I need to eat something. And like it's very low calorie and, there's some fruit in there. So like I'm getting some essentials. It's good. But even so, I was running down on my battery. Now, that being said, I did get to have a really cool, fun, out of the blue moment. A friend was like, hey, do you want to get some coffee? And I was like, yeah, actually, that would be dope. So I wound up going to a bookstore, Barnes & Noble, shout out to Barnes & Noble's, and got to go get a little Starbucks action. So I got me a caramel macchiato, and that was a clutch thing because I was thinking, I'm going to go to sleep. I'm going to go home, actually, and just pass out. But post the coffee, post the chat, I was like, you know what? We're going to get that gym session in right now. We're going to make it happen. So I went to the gym after coffee, got in about like a 30, 45 minute situation. I was able to get on a Smith machine. We love to see it. And did a little bit of core work and then like 15 minutes of cardio on the Stairmaster. And that was my gym session, something nice and light. I felt pretty good doing it. No real pain or anything like that. So that's awesome. Knock on wood. It stays that way. Hopefully we're back. I would love to have a heavy lift session this weekend. I know it's not a promise thing, but we'll see. I'll keep you posted. Of course. But then after that, we come home, have our little bit of stretch. I didn't do the full stretch today. I was kind of like, for the sake of time, we're just gonna, do a little expedited thing. Cause I was just like, I'm living literally coffee to coffee pretty much at this point. So I was like, let me get my snack in. So I have my snack. I feel like I got reinvigorated. And, the squirrel is ready to talk. The squirrel is ready to yap it up. So yeah, let's go ahead and do our startup and let's get into some news. Man, today was actually a big dub for news heads. Big dub for us, especially if you are a Kristi Noem hater. As we talked about in the previous episode, she got a really hard grilling from Congress. They really read her to fucking filth. And it looks like that's had some negative results. So yeah, we'll go ahead and start there. Ooh. Oh. All right. From the Associated Press, Trump fires Homeland Security Secretary Noem after mounting criticism over her leadership. President Donald Trump on Thursday fired his embattled Homeland Security Secretary, Kristi Noem, after mounting criticism over her leadership of the department, including the handling of the administration's immigration crackdown and disaster response. Trump, who said he would nominate Oklahoma Republican Senator Markwayne Mullin in her place, made the announcement on social media after Noem faced a 2-day grilling on Capitol Hill this week from GOP members as well as Democrats. So damn, I didn't know it was 2 days. She had to go back for fucking seconds. God damn. Noem's departure marks a stunning turnaround for a close ally to the president, who was tasked with steering his centerpiece policy of mass deportations. But she appeared to, it looks like there's a little typo here, appeared to be, or whatever. She appeared to increasingly become, I read it wrong, my bad. She appeared to increasingly become a liability for Trump, with questions arising over her spending at her department and over her conduct in the aftermath of the shooting deaths of 2 protesters in Minneapolis earlier this year. Trump said Noem has served us well and has had numerous and spectacular results, especially on the border. He said he was making her a special envoy for the Shield of the Americas, a new security initiative that he said would focus on the Western Hemisphere. I really feel like he just gave her a fucking seat at the kiddie table, like as an off ramp. Like, hey, look, we're not firing you. I don't fire my people. I don't fire my loyal ones. You've been so good. You've been such a good soldier for me. But we gotta move you to a new position, okay? A little bit more of an expansive thing. You're gonna be a part of the Shield, okay? Respect the Shield. I love it. I fucking love it, dude. I really thought I was definitely on the under that any more of these people were gonna get fired. I figured heads were gonna roll, because y'all know I said this shit towards the end of last year, maybe middle of last year. Okay, like, people are talking bad about Kristi. Like, she's not going to make it. And then she made it. She was, weathering the storm, so to speak. But I think it was just one of those situations where Trump sees her getting fucking read to filth. And once again, I'll reference what I said the other day. She did not come in like Pam Bondi. She did not come in barking like a damn dog fighting back. And, like, really, I think Trump wants to see that. Like, it's not enough at the end of the day that you just champion his policies. You champion his ideology, his fucking MAGA dogma bullshit, his way. You then have to defend it. You have to not just back it to the hilt in terms of like, oh yes, I love it. I'm, da-da-da-da-da. It's more than loyalty. You really do have to defend the fucking hearth, dude. And Kristi just kind of said, okay, if that's how you feel. All right, okay, whatever. Yeah, I did that to my dog. Like, I think she did, pipe up a little bit. But once again, it just wasn't enough, especially when you look at the laundry list of fucking failings she has just stacked up against her. And not to mention how she has been railroading the whole project that, at least in terms of from their perspective, has been something that's a layup for you. All you had to do is just show up and do the job. Like, just catch all these people and deport them, and you're good. You're making way too much of a show for yourself. You're doing things. You're leading this department in a fucking sloppy way, especially her and at the time Greg Bovino. Like, these motherfuckers were terrors, and they inflicted this terror on literally our own people, and everyone got to see that shit on camera, and they didn't have good responses for any of it. So yeah, that makes Trump look bad, and not to mention, you are just not defending this whole thing, when it comes to sit down in front of these people well enough. So guess what? You gots to go. It's just happy trails to you. Until we meet again. Fuck you. I don't know. We could keep reading on here. There's, more details. But, adios. Vaya con Dios. In terms of the Markwayne Mullin guy, I feel like I've seen his face before. Not a fan, but, yeah, that's right. Of his face. I'm back on being ableist. No, I don't know. I'm sure he's going to be the same kind of dipshit, the same kind of evil, fucking terrible person who is, once again, just going to, be the leader of the body snatchers. So yeah, I mean, the program is going to continue as is. Nothing is going to fundamentally change about how the Department of Homeland Security is going to operate, how ICE is going to operate. That just sadly is going to continue. But I am still happy to see these motherfuckers take an L. What, the last firing we had, or firing, relocating, whatever the fuck you want to call it, is Mike Walls, who essentially took a bullet for Pete Hegseth for having signal chat bullshit conversations, which he shouldn't have done. And I bet they're still fucking doing, but at least this time they're not like tagging in fucking journalists that would gladly be like, oh, this is a juicy ass fucking freebie story. Thank you. And which is to say that was Mike Waltz's fault. So he did deserve to get fired. Let me, for the record, get that right. But both of them should be fired. Like, that shit should have been happening. That's a whole other issue. But whatever. You know, our fucking Secretary of War is, he's so in it, dude. He's fucking killing so many people. He's delivering quiet death. What a fucking chode, by the way. God damn. It's like brother is just made for Reddit posts. But once again, he is literally a Fox News, talking guy, whatever, fucking face man. And now he is literally a part of running our country. So that's great. That's so fucking awesome. I love to see it fucking come up. Anyway, I'm done talking about this dog killer, this goat castrator. Have fun on the Shield. Anyway, let's move on. This is a bit of a dark story, bit of a true crime now story. So let's go ahead and get into it. I'm gonna take a quick little hot break. Okay. That was okay. All right. Anyway, from The Independent, man, 22, who randomly killed 3 women to steal their cars in shocking Utah murder spree, said it had to be done. A 22-year-old man randomly killed 3 women he did not know during a violent murder spree in a rural Utah community before stealing their cars and credit cards because he said he needed money to get back to Iowa, prosecutors say. There's something about this story to me that just, and it's so corny to fucking say, but like it plays out like a fucking true crime thriller, dare I say up to a horror level situation. It's fucked, man. Like, I don't want to get into it, but we gotta talk about this fucking guy, this fucking situation. Ivan Miller of Blakesburg, Iowa, was taken into custody on Thursday in Pagosa Springs, Colorado, some 370 miles from the scene of the crimes in Wayne County, according to the Utah Department of Public Safety. Police said Miller had a handgun and a large knife with him when he was arrested. Miller told FBI agents it had to be done, but he did not like to do it, according to charging documents. He has been charged with 3 counts of aggravated murder for the murders of 3 women, one who was in her 80s, who was found dead at her home in Lyman, and 2 women who were going hiking together on the Coxcomb Trail at the Capitol Reef National Park. None has yet been publicly identified. The 22-year-old allegedly told the FBI he had hidden elk in Utah days earlier and sold his truck to a tow company before deciding he needed a new vehicle. So he just goes weirdly, darkly GTA mode about this. He reportedly spent the night in the back of the shed of the woman in her 80s in Lyman and later saw her drive away in a Buick LeSabre. He then waited for her inside the house, hiding behind the door. And after she returned and sat down to watch television, shot her in the back of the head, prosecutors say. After allegedly dragging her body to the basement of an outbuilding, he drove away, but decided he did not like the car and wanted to find a different vehicle. It was allegedly at this point he saw 2 women getting out of a white Subaru at a trailhead at Capitol Reef National Park. The charging documents claim he shot one of the women dead and then shot and stabbed the other before dragging their bodies to a ditch. Miller said he did it because he needed money. Miller said that he took their credit cards and used the older woman's card to buy gas. Miller said that his intent was to get back to Iowa. Miller confessed that it had to be done, but he did not like it. The two women, one in her 30s and one in her 60s, were found by their husbands, who had gone to the scene to look for them. They raised the alarm, and police found the first vehicle not far from the scene, which led them to the murder scene in Lyman. Let's see. It doesn't look like there was any connection between the killer and any of the women. Following the discovery of the bodies, an urgent manhunt was launched, with police appealing for information about the victim's stolen vehicle, a 2022 white Subaru Outback with license plate U560YF. The police made the arrest after tracking the Subaru from the trailhead in Utah through Arizona and into Colorado. The car was found abandoned in Pagosa Springs, which led police to the suspect. The vehicle was tracked through southern Utah into northern Arizona before it was found abandoned in Pagosa Springs. Colorado Rodden said. Let's see. The suspect was arrested without incident at 2:40 a.m. on Thursday morning after a brief search of the area, and was found to have a concealed handgun and a large knife. Oh, excuse me. It was not immediately clear where he was when he was arrested. He was being held at the Archuleta County Detention Center on a weapons charge before the homicide charges. Let's see here. Miller was reportedly scheduled to appear in an Iowa courtroom on Friday on charges of theft, burglary, marijuana possession, and being ineligible to carry a gun, according to KSL. Well, let's see. Yeah, there's a few more details there. We're just gonna skip past that. But yeah, this was a really chilling, very sad story. Essentially just this guy just was like, you know what? I'm a guy in a bit of a pickle. I need a car, and I guess I'll just go ahead and go about it this way, and proceeds to go on a murder spree. I'd randomly got put onto the story when it was a manhunt, and I was like, oh wow, that's crazy. And then I think a few hours from reading that headline, I saw that they had arrested Miller. So, obviously condolences to the victims in this story and the families. It's definitely a thing that just didn't have to happen. And it's like, what could you have done? There's nothing you could have done. You were just living your life, and this guy happens upon you. Just a reminder that this world is a very just random, wild place where anything can happen. But anyway, let's see. We have another story that I wanted to get to. We're going to zig back into politics. And yes, we technically got to talk about Iran. You know how this shit goes. From the BBC, White House welcomes Congress green light for Iran conflict. The White House has praised the U.S. House of Representatives for rebuffing a bid to halt President Donald Trump's military action in Iran a day after a similar measure collapsed in the Senate. Let's see. It fell along the lines of 219 to 212, more or less along party lines. I will say, though, there were definitely some interesting swaps, which you love to see. I'll mention them real quick. For Democrats, Jared Golden of Maine, Greg Landsman of Ohio, fucking boo, you fucking rat piece of shit. Henry Cuellar, fuck that motherfucker, corrupt piece of shit. Also boo. Of Texas, Juan Vargas of California. They defied their party to help Republicans defeat the War Powers Resolution. So I love that. Once again, just people who are refusing to learn a lesson because they only see, oh yeah, we get to do the thing we wanted to do. So what? Donald Trump's the guy at the tip of the spear for this shit. So what? It's going to be fucking done just in a fucking grisly, butcherous way. We don't care. We don't really care. And we can always make the defense that we're just doing this to appease the other side. We're reaching across the aisle with this kind of whatever. Go fucking blow me. Anyway, two Republicans, Thomas Massey of Kentucky and Warren Davidson of Ohio. So there you go. I guess you could say a bit of a dub, but we're talking about two fucking Republicans. And I mean, you could say, oh, Thomas Massey, he's like more of a libertarian. Like I said, man, he's like the mirror equivalent of a Bernie Sanders for Republicans. Like, oh, wow, he's so different. He's talking that shit. And it's like, okay, man, whatever. You're also just kind of wasting fucking time. Anyway, cool that you at least saw, this for what it was. And it's like, no, I don't want to support this. This is gross. This is not what we should be doing with taxpayer dollars. This is not how we should be conducting ourselves as a fucking nation. I'm going to say no to that. Good call. Good fucking call. Like, it's just weird that you see the adults in the room and they're across the fucking aisle. Like, okay, that's fun. And then once again, you just have Greg Landsman being like, no, I love war. I love killing brown people. I just think it's so great and fine, and it's totally all right when we do it. God bless America. So yeah, I mean, I'm already dwelling on this too long. We already called this shit earlier, how this was fucking gonna go, Once again, I'm still annoyed that, media more or less last week kind of arced this up to be like, oh, surely people are gonna, rein him in. No, they all want this war. To some extent, they are all down to let this shit rock. Even the motherfuckers who were talking like, oh man, it's so bad that Donald Trump and Pete Hegseth are doing this. It's all fiddlesticks. I wish we could stop it. Sure, bud. Sure. Anyway, we have one more story that I wanted to cover, and we're going to take it local and talking shit about Ohio. We are going to Ohio to talk about some news. Yeah, let's go ahead and take our last break, and we will close it out there. OHIO. I will say it was yet again another rainy day. But I will take it not being like, freezing. That's something. Also, this is a bit random. We could say an aside, but why not? We got the time. I've been watching playthrough on Resident Evil 9 Requiem. Pretty cool game. Getting a quick little game review. I enjoyed it. I will say it's nice to have a blending of like two different styles of Resident Evil in the same game. That's cool. I am a Leon Kennedy enjoyer. Resident Evil 4 was the reason I liked the series. I could not get into the series. It was too spooky. It was too scary before for me. But for some reason, you put Leon Kennedy on the scene, cocaine law, and he's shooting at the villagers. They got the chainsaws. Always a chainsaw. I was down. Third person perspective. It works for me. I would say though, do I think the game is worth $70 dollars you got to pay for? I don't know. You can definitely beat it pretty quickly. The replay value, I mean, if you want to play with Leon with no shirt, I guess. Maybe more so if you're a mod person and you're playing on PC. Maybe there's a little bit of action there. Like, I can play a SpongeBob now. I don't know. Maybe that's a thing you enjoy. But no, overall, cool story, cool gameplay. There's no point in me rating it out of whatever. I just watched it. But I really thought it was cool. It was nice to get back into a Resident Evil game and get a little spooked out a little bit, And it's not real. Not real life. Oh. All right. Our last story comes from WLWT5, I believe an NBC subsidiary. Threats targeting multiple Ohio schools prompt lockdowns. FBI investigating. The FBI is investigating threatening phone calls made to multiple high schools in the area and at least 35 threats across Ohio. WLWT has heard from multiple district officials about threatening messages received, including Mason City Schools, Cincinnati Public Schools, and Indian Hill Schools. The FBI tells WLWT is investigating the threats, saying they are a hoax. Districts across greater Cincinnati and across the state took to social media to share updates on security following threatening messages received Wednesday morning. Mason High School confirms it received a threatening phone call around 10:50 a.m. I think they went on a soft lockdown, but then that was later lifted. Let's see here. Officials with the Indian Hill School District say they received a potential bomb threat around 11 a.m. Let's see. They did secure the area, and they got the all clear later on. Cincinnati Public Schools confirmed a threat was made to Walnut Hills School on Wednesday, saying no suspicious items were found. Officials with Eastern local schools say the high school and middle school are on lockdown due to a threatening phone call. So yeah, I mean, there's a bit of a trend here. I don't know if they're all like connected. I have heard in these situations when you get these kind of clusters or strings or repeated offenses of threats and whatnot, that a lot of times there is some kind of AI-ish thing involved, and that's how it's allowing this group or this person, whatever, to do these kind of things. Now, that's me being speculative, saying that might be a thing here. I don't know. I haven't heard any of this shit. I just was like, okay, I picked up the story the other day. I figured, hey, let's talk about it. Obviously concerning. Obviously very scary. I say that not as a person who has any children or anything like that, but it's still, that's a spooky ass fucking happening. And it's just, once again, it's a very weird thing. I remember being a kid, something like a bomb threat makes sense, but just like threatening phone calls, like at multiple schools in the same week, that's, I don't know. That's just, that's new to me, you know? So I don't know. I figured we'd close out with that. But yeah, that's all we have for today. We're going to call it an episode there. If you'd like to help out, support the effort, I do have a Patreon, patreon.com/Isaiah News. Become a newsie today. Excuse me. Free ways to hit me up, IsaiahNews1@gmail.com. Feel free to follow me or the podcast on any of the socials. Subscribe to the YouTube, follow on TikTok, follow on Spotify, follow on Apple Podcasts, wherever you like to listen. Let's see. Leave a like, leave a cool comment. Sharing is caring. 5 stars on Spotify, 5 stars on Apple Podcasts, or all the stars you feel comfortable giving to me are always appreciated. Helpful for the algorithm, if I'm not mistaken. But if you don't care about that, and you know, just came here to listen to somebody yap about some news and about their day, yeah, thank you. Thank you so much. You know, hopefully we can do it again tomorrow. But yes, thanks so much for tuning in. Thanks so much for being a friend. And hopefully I see you soon for some more good news. I love ya. Bye-bye. Mwah.